Tonight on Supersize Vs Superskinny, size 0 Louise Sapsford comes head-to-head with 28-stoner Desroy Gordon and his gigantic portions.
You are kidding me.
Whilst Louise is forced to face up to the damage her diet's doing...
Oh my gosh, I can see my spine.
Desroy gets delivered a shocking ultimatum.
If you carry on like this, you are going to end up in a box in the ground.
Give me an A, give me an A, I'm going in.
Also tonight, Anna Richardson hits the Big Apple in search of some big weight loss.
It says, each cookie is a delicious meal. No, it's not. It's a biscuit.
And Gillian McKeith tries to tone some London tushes with a few good vibrations.
Feel her bum vibrating, you must. Isn't that weird? That is the weirdest sensation.
Meet this week's super skinny 23-year-old Louise Sapsford. She eats the portions of a child and is desperate to put some pounds onto her bird-like size 0 frame.
When people look at me, I know that people do think that I have an eating disorder, do think that I'm anorexic.
For 1 week, she'll stay in this feeding clinic where she'll have her diet supersized by a polar opposite. Supervising her stay is Dr. Christian Jessen.
You are 5 or 3.5.
At almost 5'4" tall, Louise should be weighing roughly 8 stone.
So you are exactly 86 pounds. That makes you 6 stone 2.
That means Louise is almost 2 stone underweight, and looking at her diet diary, it's easy to understand why.
I mean, one thing I notice is no breakfast, Tuesday, Wednesday, no breakfast, and a very small breakfast on the Sunday. Why are you missing breakfasts?
Sometimes I just don't feel hungry in the mornings. I get up, have a shower, go to work, and once I'm in work, I'll have a couple of cereal bars until my first break.
But you need to be eating more, I think, of the right foods and not these sort of 5 chocolates here and, you know, sugary, sweetie bars here and there, because that's not going to help you.
Louise lives off tiny snacks and rarely touches main meals, preferring instead to pick at her food during the day and never finishing an evening meal.
My mum wants me to put on weight, so does everyone in my family. She cooks a lot of home-cooked meals, and when she's dishing it up, I'll have a smaller portion than everybody else because she just knows what I can and can't eat. I'm done, I can't eat anymore.
What Louise will eat is about the same as a 3-year-old child's portion and not a lot more.
Louise is fed up with being the only super skinny in her family and is desperate to put on weight.
My sisters are both quite bigger than me and they look fabulous, and I'd do anything to put on weight.
Her childlike physique makes it almost impossible for her to shop for clothes.
I can get away with wearing age 12 to 13 clothes, and I'm 23.
No way. No.
Not this size.
Not at all.
If I want to buy a size 8 pair of trousers, it can be quite difficult because they just don't fit.
Absolutely huge, look.
Too big. I hate being thin, and I would do anything to gain weight.
So Louise has a great big overeater to teach her a thing or two about weight gain in the form of takeaway food king, 38-year-old Desroy Gordon. At 6'2" and 28 stone, 13 pounds, this heavyweight eating champ is almost 16 stone overweight and more than 4 times heavier than Louise. And with a staggering 63-inch waist, he's more than double the width of her. From fish and chips to Chinese, Desroy's diet is a runaway takeaway train. Combined with his other favourite type of food, West Indian cooking, his meals are a never-ending mountain of carbs and fat.
I know there are things that I'm not supposed to do, but I love food, do you know what I mean? So I do it, no matter what time of the night or day, which is why I'm in the situation that I am.
And now suffering from both diabetes and asthma, this deadly diet has got to stop.
Desroy, why have you come today? What's the trigger?
The trigger is because I know I'm running out of time. It's just coming of age sort of thing. I would like to be around to see her grow.
If you carry on like this, you are going to end up in a box in the ground.
So the next week could be not just life-changing, but life-saving for Desroy. There's a staggering 22-stone weight difference between these two polar opposites. Desroy has 5 days to wean Louise off her childlike diet, whilst he will hopefully learn to eat more healthily. It's time for Supersize to meet Superskinny.
Desroy, this is Louise. Louise, Desroy.
Hi, pleased to meet you.
What do you think of Louise?
Very small, very petite.
Very petite?
Yeah.
Have you ever seen anyone as petite as this?
I have to say no.
I mean, my impressions looking at her, she looks like a little girl. Turn sideways, Louise. Look at her body. It's tiny. It's tiny, isn't it?
Very small.
Louise, what do you think of Desroy?
He's a big guy.
He's enormous. Have you ever seen a tummy this big? No. It's huge, isn't it? Give me your hand. Give me your hand. Look at that. That's amazing. So you're going to have to be very nice to him, because otherwise he's going to squash you flat.
Very soon, Louise and Desroy will swap diets, but now Dr. Jason wants to show them just what 1 week of their current eating looks like.
So Louise, this is your breakfast coming down. OK. Cornflakes. Yeah. Not a lot. What's that?
Nutrigrain bar.
What is that? Tea? Let's see what you might have for lunch. Bit of salad, pasta, I can see, chips, anything else? Where have we got up to? Dinner, I think, now. Right, what was that? More pasta. OK.
And we've got an Indian in there as well.
Oh, we've got Indian food coming in. What's your reaction to that? Are you surprised?
Yeah, seeing it like that, yes.
Yeah, because it's just not enough, and it's not enough of the right things.
An average woman should be consuming 2,000 calories a day. Louise's childlike portions provide her with just 1,600 calories a day. That's an undereat of roughly a day and a half's food every week.
I do eat until I am full, but maybe I'm not eating the right foods and maybe I'm not eating the right size portions.
Desroy, your turn now. This is what you start off for breakfast with. Oh, porridge. Porridge, what's that?
Chicken.
I spoke too soon. What is this? Fried chicken. And what's all this?
Coke.
Is that burgers for breakfast?
Sometimes, yeah.
How many? There's 2 there. And so much Coke. Sugary Coke. Is that a fry-up?
Yeah, sometimes I have full English.
So you'd have a full English at lunchtime?
Yeah.
Having had all your burgers and pizza and
yes.
everything else. Are you worried? So we're going to go on to dinner. What are they? You are kidding me. 8 donuts. 8 donuts. Is that all in one go or through the week?
No, that was one go.
No wonder Desroy's food tube is full to bursting. The average man should be consuming around 2,500 calories a day. Desroy's food intake equates to a whopping 8,500 calories a day, or nearly 60,000 a week. That's a shocking overeat of almost 17 days' food every single week.
It's just a bit worrying, a bit daunting, all that food. I am a bit worried about the portion sizes that will be put in front of me, but we'll see how it goes.
Coming up, Desroy and Louise find each other's diets hard to stomach.
I feel quite full already on porridge.
I feel like I've had to stop it off, just to start.
Really?
Anna Richardson goes looking for the latest fat-busting techniques in New York, but finds herself in need of professional help.
I need to eat one.
Don't turn the control of your life over to a muffin.
And Gillian McKeith sees if a bunch of jive dancers know their calories as well as their moves.
This dish with all that sauce is 815 calories.
Wow.
Over the last 7 weeks, I've been on a mission to slim down. I've tried all the latest fad diets, from baby food to maple syrup.
Ew.
And I've even gone as far as a bit of a lunchtime lipo. And at the end of 7 weeks, the scales reveal I'm 10 stone 9. Which is good. OK, I mean, I've lost 12 pounds. I've lost nearly a stone. But it's week 8. I would have expected more than that. So something drastic needs to happen. So it's time for me to pack my bags. OK. I've exhausted every diet possibility in the UK, so there's only one place for it where they take dieting really, really seriously. Right, I'll see you in New York. Almost every crazy diet, fad and exercise regime that's big in the UK started out in the US. The Americans are food and diet obsessed, so I'm on a New York mission to find out exactly what they do over here to shift those pounds. Have you guys ever tried a diet?
Yeah. I think we all have.
I haven't.
You're too young.
I tried one time because of the craze of the South Beach diet.
Have you ever been on a diet?
Yeah.
You have? What diet have you been on? Atkins, you've done Atkins.
Yeah.
This city is mad. Everywhere you turn, there's food and there's loads of it.
Yummy!
And there's also advertising for every diet known to man, from the bizarre to the blooming ridiculous. Get this, love this. The Hollywood cookie diet, secret of the stars, and on the side it says, each cookie is a delicious meal. No, it's not. It's a biscuit. This one, bottle of pop, OK, and it says, Hollywood 24-hour miracle diet. Lose up to £5 in 24 hours. On the back, it says, for best results, do not consume any food. Americans have a counsellor for everything. Marriage, sex, life, and yes, you've guessed it, you can now even get one for your diet. I'm hooking up with food coach Jackie Storm to help keep me from caving into all the food temptations New York has to offer. Good to meet you. Hi, now, listen.
Yes?
I have heard on the grapevine that the latest thing in New York is to have a food coach. What's that all about?
It's about figuring out what to eat, what's good to eat, how many calories does the person need.
Because I have to tell you, I am sorely tempted by the muffins, by those cheesecakes, by the bagels. Oh, I really want to eat them. If I was struggling with that, could I call you and get you to sort of stop me?
Absolutely.
And what would you say?
Just knowing that you're going to be checking in with me, just knowing that I'm going to be looking over your shoulder, you are going to be self-conscious. If I eat this right now, she's going to know about it. I'm going to have to tell her.
It's like having my mum at the end of the phone, Jackie, telling me off. Having got a food coach on board to keep me from temptation, I'm now heading to another part of town to hook up with New York lifestyle journalist Alyssa Shalatsky. She's going to fill me in on the latest weight loss diets at a special type of restaurant where absolutely nothing gets cooked. In the UK, we kind of think you guys are mental. So in terms of weight loss and diets, you're a bit crazy.
Yeah.
So what is the latest fad?
We're really into the raw food diet, and the people who follow that diet are called rawists. So there's rawists.
Do a lot of celebrities do this kind of thing?
They do. I mean, it's very trendy. It's very trendy. Gwyneth Paltrow was the first person to sort of come out and say, I am a rawist.
Of course.
Of course.
I mean, I'm from London, so this just looks to me like I've got a plate of salad. What's going on?
Well, it's stuffed endive. The difference here is that the cheese is not made with dairy. It's cashew nuts that is blended with lemon and salt.
And that's pasta, I take it?
Yes, the noodles are yellow squash that's turned out with a spiraling slicer.
It's like pasta you've made the night before and then left, and I've opened the saucepan and eaten it in the morning. Because it's cold pasta.
I kind of am starting to feel good inside, like you said. Yeah, like soulfully good.
I got quite excited about raw food because on first inspection and first bite, yummy, but then about half an hour later I felt really, really sick. I'm not sure why. I think it might have been all the enzymes and electrolytes going into my body, man. Kind of made me too pure. And, I felt right gippy. So I had to go and drink a Diet Coke instead. What I should have done was call Jackie my food coach. She might have talked me out of it.
Hi, Anna. How are you?
I'm having a crisis. I'm standing outside a muffin stall. I need to eat one. I don't know what to do.
Don't turn the control of your life over to a muffin.
about 600 or 700 calories. It's loaded with
fat and sugar. It has no redeeming nutritional value. Forget about it and take yourself away from it.
Okay, I'll stay strong. Bye. Having a food coach is a bit like just having a buddy there every day, just helping you and motivating you and stopping you from stuffing that bar of chocolate down your neck. So, actually, I think it's quite a positive thing. Or maybe I'm just coming over all American.
So, having discovered some New York ways of diet-based weight loss, it's time to see if there are any new wacky exercise regimes over here. And I'm not disappointed. The latest craze sweeping the city is more American than, well, a lovely big slice of apple pie.
Give me an A, give me an A, I'm going in.
Up and forward and sidewalk cross. 2, 3, and 4. Open, down, to open, down, up, down. Walking front. 1, 2, 3, down, low, together, and last year, open and out, front, left, right, down, up, in, right.
Is this what everybody is doing in New York to keep fit?
Well, this is a new thing that's just taking off. It's very exciting.
It's really good fun, but I've got to tell you, I'm knackered. Is
Absolutely.
it a good weight loss thing, this?
Oh, absolutely, because you're using your abdominal muscles. Every time you're going down and up, you're using your core. Every time you're using a split, you're lengthening your legs. Same thing with the kicks. So you've got the combination of jumping, which is very aerobic, and all of the sculpting worked out into the routine.
Alicia, every time I jump, I wean myself a bit. Is that...
That's why you need the sculpting.
Okay, I just need to work a little bit on my top.
Work a little bit on that.
But that is a perfect cartwheel.
I've got to tell you, New York is a fantastic city. They are so extreme about everything, and they're completely ahead of the game in terms of food, crazy diets, exercise. They've got everything. But you know what? Now that I'm at the end of my trip, all I want to do is just eat as much as I can get. Brilliant. Check it out. Cheesy chips.
My 7 weeks of crazy diets are well and truly over, and while I might have lost some weight, my mind's been open to the perils of extreme dieting. Later in the programme, I'll be meeting a diabetic who used her medication to lose weight, with devastating results.
You've gone blind in one eye?
Yeah, I went blind from it.
Super skinny Louise Sapsford picks at tiny childlike portions throughout the day and rarely finishes a meal. She's desperate to bulk up her bird-like size 0 frame. So she's swapping diets with supersizer Desroy Gordon. He weighs in at almost 29 stone and lives off a diet of takeaways and calorie-packed West Indian food. It's day 1 of the diet swap, and the morning kicks off with one of Desroy's king-sized breakfasts. A large bowl of porridge with 4 fried dumplings, all washed down with a high-calorie supplement drink.
So is this something that you'd normally have for breakfast then?
Yeah, you'd have it with any meal really, or even just as a snack on its own sort of thing.
Desroy has to make do with a small portion of toast and jam.
So this is typically what you'd have on a morning for breakfast?
I would, yeah, a couple of slices of toast and a cup of tea.
I bet I'll finish before you do.
Is that something I'd have for dinner?
Wow.
This size? God, I feel quite full already on porridge.
I feel like I've had a starter, just to start.
Really?
Compared with Desroy's usual breakfast fodder, the toast clearly isn't touching the sides.
I don't really eat bread that much, unless there's a bit of meat in between it.
Desroy's normal breakfasts are a mix of the good and the bad. And whilst Louise struggles with dumplings, fact is, you can't go wrong with a good bowl of porridge. It's low in fat, high in fibre to keep you regular, is a good source of B vitamins, and best of all, will keep you full until lunchtime. The dumplings barely settle when a Desroy special, a lunch that looks more like a breakfast, is dished up for Louise.
I'd normally only eat food like this if I was, I don't know, stopping off somewhere in a cafe.
But Desroy's lunch wouldn't look out of place at a children's party.
I had 2 Kit Kats, a packet of hula hoops and a banana. feel like I'm eating for my daughter here. This could be over in seconds. I'm trying to get my mind around the fact that I'm going to be eating very small for the next week or so.
Louise is trying to get her mind around the absolute opposite.
There was sort of 2 of everything as well, 2 eggs, 2 sausages, 2 rashers of bacon. And I suppose that's might be normal for everyone else, but I would just normally have maybe 1 sausage.
As the diet swap continues, Louise fails to finish one meal after another. Dr. Jessen has a wake-up call for Louise in the form of a super skinny rogues gallery.
Louise, come with me. I want to show you something that I put up for you here on this wall. Who's this?
Oh my gosh.
Who is that?
I don't know.
Do you recognise
That's
it?
me, yeah.
Why are you saying, oh my gosh?
I'm just not used to seeing myself like that.
Did you know that that's how you looked?
No. I can see my spine.
Are you a bit shocked by that?
Yeah, a little bit.
Are you?
Mm.
You shouldn't see your bones poking through like that. Long term, this is more serious because you're at great risk of getting very, very weak bones, something called osteoporosis. Have you ever seen those little old ladies who are so hunched over like this they can't really lift their heads up?
Mm.
That is what you're going to end up like. You're going to get crush fractures of your vertebrae that collapse on each other because they're not strong enough to support your weight.
The back can bend due to the collapse of the weakened spinal bones. Not only do you end up with an arched back, it's also extremely painful.
I want to have a look at this picture. Oh, what do you think I want to point out here?
My bones above here.
What about that huge gap between your legs, where your flesh should be, where your legs should be?
Yeah.
There's no flesh on them at all.
Not only do Louise's legs look thinner, but by undereating, her muscles are losing mass. Less muscle will cause her to tire more easily, and her strength will be reduced.
Are you a size 0?
I can wear, yeah, UK size 4.
Yeah, I mean, is that really the look we want to see as the epitome of beauty?
No, it's not.
It's not, is it? Really, really not. Are you shocked? It's not great, is it?
No, it's not. Seeing it like that, it sort of hits home as to, you know, how I look and how other people, you know, what other people see when they look at me. It's not very nice. It definitely makes me want to do something about it.
We all know the way to our lover's heart is through the stomach, and there's nothing like a romantic dinner for 2 to keep those embers burning.
The thing is, all that rich food could expand your love handles as well as your heart. And the question is, what can you eat to spice up your love life without turning you into a couch potato? Well, I am here to save the day.
My stud muffins and I have hit a jive jaunt to check out whether those romantics recognise a saint dinner from a sinner. And my calorie contestants are...
salmon and Caesar salad with the sauce. Steak and chips with all the veggie trimmings. Lamb shank, sugar snaps, and a few veg thrown in.
You know you're so sexy.
So let's shimmy, boys, and find out which dinner for 2 these dancers think has the highest calories.
The highest in calories is between the lamb and the steak.
Steak and chips.
I would hope that would be the lowest of the calories of the 3.
But the highest would be probably the lamb shank.
The steak, because it's got the sauce on it as well.
So, all in all, 50 out of 100 of the love-lorn modern jivers thought that the steak was the highest in calories. Were they right?
They were absolutely wrong. In fact, only 8 out of the 100 diners guessed correctly. The love rat in this lot, with an enormous 815 calories, is a salmon Caesar salad. Don't be lured by the lettuce leaf. The bad boys are the Parmesan cheese, croutons and heavy dressing. For the same amount of calories, you could eat 16 slices of smoked salmon, 6 servings of cod in parsley sauce, or 36 romaine lettuce hearts. Not far behind is the lamb shank with roasted veg and sugar snap peas at 660 calories. If you love your lamb, then you don't have to leave it because I've come up with these 3 lower calorie alternatives. But you can still be romantic without getting gigantic, because the steak and chips has the least calories at 517. Just remember, it's all about the cut you buy and how you cook it. Grill a lean rump steak and bake the potato wedges without oil, then boil, grill or oven cook your sides.
You said what?
I said exactly the opposite, really.
Big bums in London! We're not called Great Britain for nothing. Our bottoms are the biggest in Europe at an appalling average of 40.5 inches.
Why is it sinking in like that? What's wrong with it?
It's lots of cellulite, lots of dimples, but it's too big.
It is a bit soft.
In the last 6 weeks, I've been riding, marching, and surfing off the surplus flab of our bulging British backsides. And so far, I've removed 99 inches of saggy ass.
Londoners, lend me your rears!
Tonight, I'm targeting the tushes of London.
Oh, you can see that one from the London Eye!
Where there are more bums than anywhere else in the UK. 7.5 million to be exact. That's a lot of cheeks.
Oh my God. Talk about London City. This is cellulite city.
These big bots tot up a grand total of over 410 inches.
4 feet. 4.5 feet. She's got a backside that's 4.5 feet wide. I think you've won the prize. I think you've got the biggest London backside.
With each bum measuring an average of 45 inches, cool blimey, governor, that's 5 inches bigger than the average blighty bum. It's time these lardy Londoners got leaner rears, and I've found just the machine to do it.
Right, ladies, hello there. I'm here to see if you're turning your baggy buttocks into nice tight tushes. So I want to see you in action right now on the double. Climb onto your beasts, ladies. Vibrating plates for those vibrating bums. Make the earth move, ladies. I see you, baby, shaking that ass.
These power plates were a Hollywood craze but can now be found in gyms all over the UK. The plates vibrate, which stimulate muscle activity and therefore tone and firm the butt more quickly.
Yeah, first start, let's go. It should be on high, girl. Here we go. Oh, now she's vibrating. Is yours on high?
Muscles generally contract once or twice a second, but the vibrating power plate claims to contract them 30 to 50 times a second, meaning a good exercise session can be shrunk down into 15 minutes. To tone up those tushes, you don't just stand on these machines. Exercises such as bum squats are still necessary.
Is that bum vibrating? Oh, it is. We should feel her bum vibrating. You must. Isn't that weird? That is the weirdest sensation.
Beats spending an hour down the gym, if it works.
Oh my God! Have you felt it? You should have a good feel. You got to grab that. You feel it is. It's firming up, isn't it? Your bum is firming up, you know. That's amazing. Take it on down. Oh gosh! What is wrong with you? You're crying like a baby. What's the matter? Speak. What happened? You can speak. I'll let you speak.
So maybe it's not all pain for gain with these power plates. Later, I'll be finding out whether or not they've really hit the spot.
So far in the feeding clinic, Supersize Desroy has struggled on a diet fit for a child.
I feel like I'm eating for my daughter here.
Whilst Superskinny size 0 Louise has failed to finish a meal.
There was sort of 2 of everything as well. 2 eggs, 2 sausages, 2 rashers of bacon.
A closer look at her bird-like frame has given her food for thought.
Oh my gosh.
But is it enough to spur her on to eat more? It's day 2, and breakfast kicks off with a typical West Indian start to the day.
What is that?
Pork bellies.
Oh, for breakfast.
So you've never had anything like that before?
No,
Pork bellies and avocado?
no, not at all. It feels like I'm sitting down to dinner. It's quite fatty, isn't it? All this food being put in front of me is quite daunting because I'm not used to eating large amounts. To eat something like that, it's quite difficult for me.
Whilst unfortunately Louise looks no closer to finishing a meal.
I'm done.
Desroy struggles with the opposite problem.
It's unfulfilling sort of thing. I really do eat a lot of meat, so that breakfast was really deflating.
An evening meal of a Desroy favourite. Prawn balls, spare ribs and egg fried rice poses yet another challenge for Louise.
Did you not like the prawn balls?
It's a bit rubbery.
Whilst Desroy gets his first proper adult portion of the swap in the form of a shepherd's pie. But he's still feeling the effects of the last 2 days' tiny meals.
So how's it going for you then, this diet?
It is hard, but I was sort of geared up for that when I come here. Like, I knew it wasn't going to be easy. But I'm coping. My main reasons for doing this is my health. I also want to do this because of my wife and my daughter. I don't feel that I'm doing them any justice in being this size.
Desroy suffers from a host of medical conditions, including asthma and diabetes. Illnesses directly linked to his size.
He broke his toe recently and there was a panic about whether an infection was going to set in and the complications of that because of his diabetes.
Being the size that I am, every day is pretty much a challenge. You're not as active as you should be, so it's a push to do pretty much everything. More incentive for me to lose weight.
Staying off his supersized portions of carb-heavy West Indian food wouldn't be a bad start. And this is exactly what he's serving up for Louise for dinner. Mutton dressed up as curry, accompanied with a mountain of rice, peas and fried plantain. Desroy will be chowing down on an English classic, good old fish and chips.
Do you really eat all of that?
No, I don't.
I thought not.
I would fill those rolls with chips and then I would eat a bit of that fish.
He only gets the portions Louise would eat herself.
Must admit, I don't really like it.
So you really don't like that? Not being able to have the curried mutton with rice and peas, that's one of my first loves, do you know what I mean? And to see it sort of sat there, not being eaten and not being able to go near it was very, very hard.
That's banana.
A plantain, similar to banana.
Yeah, I don't really like that either.
No? You don't like any of it?
It wasn't really something that I like and probably not something that I'd eat again.
Despite the fact that Louise has already acknowledged her size 0 look isn't healthy, she still hasn't finished a single meal. Dr. Jessen's concerned Louise could fail the swap and decides to step in.
Louise, how is the diet going so far, your diet swap? How are you finding it?
It's difficult. The portion sizes are huge.
And not what you're used to?
Not what I'm used to at all.
What has it told you about your diet?
That I'm not eating the right amount. I'm eating the amount to keep me going, but I'm not eating enough for anything else.
That's a really good point, and I'm really glad you've realised that. That, OK, your diet isn't that unhealthy, or there are areas that could be better, but it's just not enough in it. You know, you're eating the bare minimum to sustain your body, but no more. So if you want to put on weight, you have to increase your calories. What I want you to really try and do is to finish your food. I don't think you've managed it yet, but I'm hoping that we'll see you eat one of Desroy's meals, a whole meal, because that, I really want to show you actually you can eat more than you think you can.
It's been 4 weeks since I last saw my lardy-assed Londoners. They've been jiggling their ginormous jacksies on their vibrating power plates for 15 minutes 3 times a week. But did this product live up to its promise and pulse away the paunch on those posteriors? Hi, London ladies. How are things? Ooh, that was firm. She's done a good job there.
I went from a size 45 inches to 42, so that's 3-inch loss in the space of 4 weeks. It's fantastic to me.
And how's your bum?
Firm, darling.
You're right, it is.
It really does do your bum some good. It really does firm up, yes. And I think my cellulite's gone down a lot from it as well. Before I started the power plates, I couldn't tie my shoelaces. Every time I wanted to wear a shoe with some shoelaces...
That's right. You could not touch your toes.
I could not.
Can you get to your toes now?
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
Well done. Well, to the eye, all that quaking and shaking seems to have worked. But only the tape can tell the truth.
I've got the results. Ladies, you lost in total 16 inches. An average of 1.78 per ball.
While they've done well, they sadly come second to our Welsh surfers, who remain at the top, losing on average 2.32 inches each.
It's lunchtime and Louise is served up a high-calorie meal of a jumbo-sized sausage roll, crisps and cakes. Desroy has a small bowl of chicken salad.
Yeah, I'm hoping I can eat it all. I don't see why not.
Well, I think if you're going to do it, this is going to be the meal.
And what do you think of the salad?
I feel like I should have a hedge trimmer. To be totally honest with you, I think it's probably the first time I've actually tasted... I don't know if it's the spinach or that is on its own. It's normally going in with like a spoonful of rice and a bit of meat, if you know what I mean.
And it looks like, yep, Dr. Jesson's words of wisdom have finally paid off.
Outside of this house, I would have said, OK, that's enough, and I would have only eaten half of it. So it's a big achievement to me that, you know, I've done it.
And Desroy, who's filled up on just a salad rather than his normal gigantic portions, is also thrilled at their mutual success.
It made a change, because it's the sort of thing where it's at the end of the meal, my plate's always clean. Today, for the first time, we've had her plate was clean, and mine's had a bit left in it.
I hope that Desroy is starting to learn that huge portions and fatty foods are not essential, and that he can live on a healthier and smaller portions.
So it's dinner and the final opportunity for Desroy and Louise to prove they've both broken their terrible old eating habits.
Cute.
It's Supersize Spag Bol versus Super Skinny Stew.
You think you'll be able to finish that one? Yeah?
I'll give it a go.
Louise is determined not to let the side down.
Come on, Louise, you can do it. Hey, well done.
Mission accomplished.
That was a bit strange, me having an empty plate, Desroy not having an empty plate. It was like the first meal that we had, Desroy had eaten all his, and there I was with a plate full of food still.
I didn't think that she'd finish it. Thumbs up to Louise, she did well.
It's strange, the last meal of the week, and the roles have changed slightly. So that was quite cool to see.
So having hopefully changed their eating habits for good, it's time for Louise and Desroy to check out.
I think the whole experience, it's definitely been an eye-opener for me. I've been trying to eat a little bit more every time. It's been difficult and it's been an achievement in itself, just, you know, me getting through this week.
Dr. Jesson has prepared healthy eating plans for Louise and Desroy, which they'll have to follow for the next 12 weeks.
I'm really pleased with you, because you did manage, after all, to eat an entire Desroy-sized portion. Louise, what's been the worst bit for you about Desroy's diet?
Not just trying to eat the portions, but getting back into the whole routine of having breakfast, lunch and dinner instead of just snacking when I want and sometimes skipping meals altogether.
Desroy, did you cheat at all?
Not at all.
So you really did it?
I did.
What's been the hardest thing about this swap for you?
Well, having to sort of like deal with the meagre portions has been really hard.
What would you tell Louise?
Well, I think her mindset's right, because she was determined to eat a larger portion sort of thing, and she's been doing so. So I'd say carry on as you are. You're doing fine.
I've done your diet plans for you, OK? For the next 12 weeks, this is what you're going to stick to. Louise, that's yours.
Okay.
Desroy, that's yours. What's interesting about these is they're essentially exactly the same. You're eating the same food groups, the same balances of stuff, just slightly different amounts. But the point is, it's a healthy, balanced diet. You're not going to miss meals. You're going to have all your meals. You can have your healthy snacks. And I want to see big changes in 12 weeks. OK, guys? Best of luck to you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So now the diet swappers must go it alone as they embrace their new healthy eating plan for the next 3 months.
Good luck.
See ya.
Coming up, Louise and Desroy get the results of their final weigh-in.
Do you remember what you weighed when we first met?
6 stone 2.
6 stone 2. And now, you weigh?
And Anna Richardson meets someone whose extreme diet has done their body untold damage.
My clothes rubbing against my legs felt like they were sandpaper rubbing against sunburn.
My journey through the madness of fad dieting is almost at an end. Whilst researching the latest weight loss trends, I've come across the stories of dozens of people who've suffered the consequences of diets that have spun out of control. And as I dig further into the darker realms of extreme dieting, I've come across a truly disturbing disorder.
I'm just doing some research about eating disorders, and the obvious ones that come up are anorexia and bulimia, and obviously we've all heard about those, are very, very well known. I've just come across something called diabulimia, which I have never, ever heard of. Apparently it's where people who are diabetic deliberately skip their insulin in order to stay thin, and it's incredibly dangerous. So, I mean, I just can't believe that people are going to these extremes.
Medication for diabetes stabilises blood sugar levels, so diabetics who skip their injections allow their blood sugar levels to rise. Over time, the high sugar levels can damage nerves and blood vessels around the body, increasing the risk of heart attack, stroke and blindness. It's estimated that a staggering 1/3 of diabetic women under 30 in the UK have resorted to controlling their weight this way, but the consequences I've discovered can be devastating. 24-year-old Lisa Bond has suffered from diabetes since she was 6. For 9 years, she skipped injections to control her weight, with life-shattering consequences.
OK, so 11.5 stone, 5'3", you felt quite porky?
Yeah.
OK. And by abusing your insulin,
Yeah.
because you discovered that, hey, I'm shifting the weight fast.
Yeah.
What weight did you get to?
I got down to just over 7 stone.
You lost 4 stone?
Yep. And I could lose half a stone in a week, easily. I could literally not do my injection, go to sleep for 24 hours, get up and notice a difference and notice that I've lost weight already in 24 hours.
While you've been asleep?
Yeah.
OK, so at what point did you decide, I need to stop this now, I need to start taking my insulin?
I started to change my attitude when I was about 21. I had nerve damage in my legs, which was one of the long-term side effects if you don't control your diabetes. But it was extremely painful. I don't know if you've ever been really badly sunburnt before, but it felt like that. And my clothes rubbing against my legs felt like they were sandpaper rubbing against sunburn. So I could hardly walk, and I'm still taking medication for it now, and I will probably have to for the rest of my life.
It's absolutely extraordinary. And did you suffer any other long-term effects?
Yeah, I went blind in my right eye.
You've gone blind in one eye?
Yeah, I went blind from it.
Knowing what you know now, if you could go back in time, would you have done the same thing?
No, absolutely not. I think when I was going through losing my sight and my nerve damage, I just had the worst feeling of regret and guilt.
If, for 1 minute, you've thought that it's worth damaging your body just to keep your weight down, please, please think again. Next week, I meet probably the most famous sufferer of anorexia in the world.
Louise Sapsford was a super skinny, sparrow-like eater who couldn't bring herself to finish a meal. Now it's time to find out if 12 weeks of proper healthy eating has made a difference.
How are you? Nice to see you again. How's it been going?
Yeah, good, thank you.
Give me 12. Gosh, let me see your back. Remember before I was pointing out your spine in those pictures? It's not there anymore, you can't see it. And are you feeling happier and healthier?
A lot happier.
Really?
And healthier, yeah. A lot more energy, and I'm not tired throughout the day. I used to sit at my desk at work and fall asleep, whereas now I'm not.
Louise might feel and look healthier, but has she managed to put on any weight?
Okay, totally good.
She's been reunited with Diet Swap partner Desroy to share the results.
It's all right. How you doing?
Good to see you.
Looking well.
Yes, and you. Lucky you put some on.
Do you think she has?
Yeah, definitely.
Do you remember what you weighed when we first met?
6 stone 2.
6 stone 2. And now you weigh 6 stone 9.
Yeah.
So you put on half a stone.
That's brilliant.
Half a stone.
Yeah, that's excellent.
Exactly what I wanted, so that's fantastic.
Louise's weight gain is a huge step in the right direction, and she's also managed to put on 2.5 inches round her waist and 1.5 inches on each thigh. But has Louise's feeding buddy, Man Mountain Desroy, made a start on getting down to a healthier weight?
Do you remember what you weighed when we first met?
It was 28.13.
It was 28 stone 13. Okay. Well, now you're 28 stone 4.
Oh my God.
Yes! Exactly.
He's also lost 1.5 inches off that bulging belly of his and 1.5 inches around each thigh.
Just think in a year, you can lose 2 stone at this rate, which is great.
Yeah.
So keep it going.
The biggest changes I made was cutting out all the junk food and eating right, getting my portions right. It took me a long time to actually make the initial move, but now that I've done it, I think it's the best thing I've ever done.
The whole experience has been fantastic. Knowing that I've put on an extra couple of inches, you know, around my thighs, legs or stomach is great. I definitely don't want to be a size 0, but hopefully, you know, I'll get to the size 8 and that'll be it.
I don't think Louise realised just how bad size 0 looked until I showed her those blown-up pictures of her. But now she's put on half a stone and is looking so much healthier and happier. I'm sure that's all the incentive she's going to need to keep this up.
If you are overweight or underweight and would like to participate in the next series, or you're affected by any of the issues in this programme, then please go to www.channel4.co.uk/health. Next week, in the last Diet Swap of the series, Super Skinny Alex gets a stiff warning about his manhood.
Because your diet is so bad, this is not going to be working properly.
And there's trouble in store when Supersize Tracy's deprived of her plentiful platefuls.
I'm not going to eat any of this. It's just crap.
What you've had this week is what I would have had on an average week. I'm not dead.
And for the first time in her life, Gillian McKeith pigs out.
Oh, for goodness sake.
Next on 4, does Chris Murrin have the powers of persuasion to get the people of gridlocked Boston out of their cars and walking for one day? Let's just say she doesn't get the warmest welcome.